I think that the question we have to ask ourselves is, if Donald Trump wins the Republican nomination and then beats Hillary in the general election, will he still tweet as president? I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Tweeting Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
That is really a question. If he got elected, would he tweet? Has Obama ever tweeted? Do you know if Obama's ever tweeted? Do you know? Has Obama tweeted? You guys? All right, we're going to find out. So Hillary has been flapping her gums about the danger of guns. And Trump said in response something like, look, if guns really don't protect people, why don't you tell your Secret Service to get rid of their weapons? Do you see the hypocrisy in this? Do you see? I mean, isn't it glaring? Trump right now has a Secret Service detail. Hillary has a Secret Service detail. I don't know what the numbers are in federal law, but when a candidate in an election cycle reaches a certain point, they get Secret Service protection. Carson had a detail dispatched to him, and so Dr. Carson, and so did Trump. I don't know if Carson still has his because his numbers have gone down, but Trump has a Secret Service detail, and they're all armed, and they should be armed. But that's a part of the idiocy of what Obama and Hillary are trying to do, is that they want a two-tiered society. That's what they want. They want the elites to either have their own guns or, better yet, their own security details. You know, Obama and Hillary probably don't want to carry a gun. That's what I have those people for. They carry the guns for me. But they know darn well that those guns are there to protect them, okay? Those guns that are in the holsters on the persons of their security details are not there for duck hunting. They're not there for adventures in the woods to shoot a deer. They're not there for target practice. They are there to protect the life of the person who is in their charge. That's what they're there for. Protection of human life. So there's a lot of talk right now. What's Obama going to do with his executive order? And it may have even happened between the taping of this and airing it tonight. But the bottom line is he despises the Second Amendment. Despises it. Now, I think where he's going to go, he's not going to do something that's really outrageous that saddles Hillary and the Senate and the House Democrats with something that's absolutely untenable. He's not going to use an executive order to confiscate guns. Probably what he'll do is, I don't know. Some people are saying he could do something that involves medical professionals or psychological professionals. So if you're a psychologist and you're counseling people, we want the name of all of these people. We want to know who you're talking to. If you're in marriage counseling, and we want to know who you're talking to, possibly this way we could stop domestic violence or the husband murdering his wife or a wife murdering her husband with a gun. He's going to do something that's politically correct in his own mind and that he thinks will have keeping power. Now, Paul Ryan, our new Speaker of the House, I have very little respect for him. And, you know, he's been on the air saying, well, if President Obama does something, it shows that he's circumventing the legislative process. No kidding. Can I call him Paul? Is it disrespectful if I call him Paulie? What are you going to do, Paulie? You going to cry? You going to go home and cry? Well, President Obama didn't follow the rules. Paulie, what are you going to do? If he's not following the rules, is he breaking the rules, Paulie? Is he? I mean, if he's doing something that's unconstitutional, doesn't that sound to me or to you like an impeachable offense? Or, Paul, have you already told him that you're not going to stop anything he does? That's the problem here, people. Do you understand? The Republicans took the House in 2010, promising that they were going to defund Obamacare. Didn't do it. They funded it. Then they won again in 2014, saying that they were going to stand against amnesty. Didn't do it. They're just liars. And I was listening to a talk show, I think it was Sean in the past couple of days, who talked about polling data that shows how many people that are Republicans feel betrayed by the Republican leadership. And I've got a couple things to say about that when I come back from this break. It involves Judas. Thanks to friends like you, we have state-of-the-art cameras and state-of-the-art teleprompters and state-of-the-art gear here in the studio. We have one big need, however. We have not yet been able to upgrade our computers. The computers that we use for a television broadcast or to create a documentary are not like the kind that you can just go buy at Best Buy. They are expensive because it takes so much horsepower to create TV series and or documentaries. So I'm asking you, if you want to see this show grow and you want to see us finish the What Would Muhammad Do series, help us get these computers. 3 computers that we need right now are going to be just shy of $20,000. That's the kind of horsepower that we need. Go to the GoFundMe page you see right there. Watch the pilot for What Would Muhammad Do? And if you like the show, give us a gift. Breaking news, this just in. Yes, President Obama does tweet. But it appears to Billy Bob that he has a writer writing them. They're inane, they're politically correct. I promise you this, Donald Trump is writing his own tweets. Now, the only thing I don't know is, do you think he sits there and does that? Do you think he does, where he actually has it in his hand and he's doing it himself? Is he using his thumbs? Is he using a finger? Maybe voice dictation? I don't know. I've never tweeted. That probably makes me like a dinosaur or something. But I've never tweeted. I don't know how it works. I resent these godless devices. I think that they are ruining humanity. I really do. Now, maybe I will tweet. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I do have a smartphone. I do have a computer. I do a television show. Look, and some of you watch it on TV sets and some of you watch it online. Not trying to be a hypocrite. Right, I have staff that do my tweeting for me. We do tweet occasionally, don't we? Do we send, okay, right. Billy Bob just reminded me in my little earpiece. Well, Randall, in fact, we do send out tweets from time to time. I didn't even know that. I forgot about that. Are they good tweets? Well, if you can people sign up for my tweets? Where they go to our website? All right, so go to our website, voiceofresistance.com. I'm so pathetic. And you can sign up, and tweets that I don't write will be sent to you. Should I start writing my own tweets, do you think? Show episode tweets? All right. Do you still get 120 characters? Let's not stop. Is it up to 140? Maybe I should tweet. Anyway, betrayal. Let's talk about the Republicans and betrayal. On the night he was betrayed, the Lord Jesus took bread. Betrayed. Betrayed is when someone betrays you, they hand you over to their enemy, to your enemy. They betray some promise. They betray some vow. They betray your trust. And usually, when someone is betrayed, the betrayer is either pushed out of their lives completely, or it takes an enormous amount of time to rebuild trust. Okay? And with families, usually, if a dad betrays his children, somehow it's still the dad. If in a family situation, if a dad is mean to his kids, they feel betrayed, it's still the dad, but he still has to work to regain their trust. Okay? Some relationships you cannot escape by virtue of blood. Some relationships you can escape. And some people, in business relationships, all kinds of things. When betrayal happens, it is severe. The consequences can be severe. And a lot of Republicans feel betrayed. That's what the polling data shows. They're not angry, they're not disappointed, they're not shocked. They feel betrayed. And so that's one of the reasons why, that no matter what Trump says, there's a certain part of the Republican base that feels so betrayed by the Republican leadership that when the leadership tells us, the ones that they've betrayed, that we're supposed to be mad at Trump for saying what he said. How dare Trump say that? What a buffoon. He makes us all look bad. He's unelectable. Blah, blah, blah. He insults people. And then when Jeb Bush says you can't insult your way to the White House, those who feel betrayed by the Republican leadership say, want to bet? Do you want to bet he can't? Well, just watch him. Watch him tweet his way to the White House with insults. Insults against Hillary, insults against Bill Clinton, insults against the cowardly, treacherous Republicans. By the way, I've got to take a break, but we were talking off the air what nickname we should give House Speaker Ryan. I don't know if it's disrespectful. That's the problem. We could call him Cryin' Ryan, Whinin' Ryan. He's more of a whiner than a crier. He's just not believable. And he's part of the leadership that has betrayed us, right up to and including this latest abominable budget. It's not even a budget, spending bill that they passed. Gave Obama everything that he wanted. Wow, there's a pillar of courage. And that's supposed to regain our trust? Christians must be involved in government, period. If Christians weren't involved in government, we would not have a United States of America. And there have been brilliant Christian minds over the centuries, such as John Locke, who is called the philosopher of American liberty. He was quoted by Clarence Thomas in his recent dissent on the homosexual marriage decision. If we don't understand John Locke, we don't understand the founding of America. I want to send you this book and my book, The Sword, subtitled The Blessing of Righteous Government and The Overthrow of Tyrants. I want to send you these two books for a gift of whatever you can afford. Pay the $8 shipping and handling, which does not cover our costs, and then give a gift of whatever size you want, and we'll send you these books. If you cannot afford anything but the $8, can't even afford that, write us a note, and we'll send them to you for free. I want you to have these books so that you can be better equipped to fight in the political arena. Come on, order them today. When the Iowa caucus happens and then the New Hampshire primary, the number that I heard thrown around is that the delegates that are apportioned because of those two contests and are around 5 or 6% of all the delegates that are available. Okay, that's not a lot. It's not a lot. But there's been, for decades, enormous focus on those two states. And both of them, as a matter of statutory law, say that Iowa will have the first caucus, New Hampshire will have the first primary, and there have been different points in election history where other states tried to be first in line, and New Hampshire and Iowa just said, well, move ours ahead of yours. We're gonna be first, okay? We're gonna be first. And one of the benefits of the Iowa and the New Hampshire the caucus and the primary respectively is that it's retail politics. New Hampshire is a very small state, and you could drive around it super fast. People have a lot of meet and greet, a lot of handshaking there. And in Iowa, it's a fairly large state. I think there's 99 counties, and it's just really a lot of driving, okay? I've been to Iowa on a number of occasions, a lot of driving. And there, it's not a very heavily populated state. So you've got meetings with 10, 15, 20, 40, 50 people in some of these smaller counties. Trump has turned everything on its head, having these rallies both in New Hampshire and in Iowa and all over the country with over 10,000 people, right? This is, in some ways, unheard of. Hillary can't draw a crowd to save her life. Bernie Sanders has got way more people, way more excitement than she could dream of having. But back to Trump. So these two early contests, Iowa, New Hampshire, and then it goes to, if my memory is correct, South Carolina, and then Florida. But the first two are going to have the net effect of having people fold and get out of the race. They just are. And the reason is because they can't raise money. People generally, not always, people generally stop giving money to a candidate who they feel just has no chance of winning, because it's sort of like throwing your money away. Well, if you can't win, why am I going to send him my money? And if he doesn't have money, he can't pay his staff. If he can't pay his staff, he can't have rallies put together. He can't have somebody calling up at media trying to get interviews. I mean, the whole thing just implodes. So after the Iowa caucus and after the New Hampshire primary, we are going to see a sudden thinning of the field. So now the talk is about how well Cruz is doing. For a while it was how well Ben Carson was doing in second place. Carson's numbers have gone down. Cruz's numbers have gone up. Now in the national polling data, Trump still has twice the support that Cruz does. But Cruz has put a lot of time and effort into building organizations in Iowa especially, and some in New Hampshire. So while Trump is thrashing everyone nationally in the polls, there could be a somewhat tight race in Iowa and in New Hampshire. Now, the people in the political world who do not want Trump as the nominee, they are searching frantically to find somebody who can come up to Trump and then either surpass him, which is unlikely, or be close enough to him throughout all the primaries that Trump gets to the convention without enough delegates to be the nomination. Because once there is one vote, when delegates are won in these primary contests and the representative, the delegate, goes to the convention, they are obligated by party rules to vote for the person who won the primary. Otherwise, why have a primary? It's just a farce. But once that happens, if there is not a nominee with the number of votes that are required, number of delegates that are required, then it becomes a free-for-all. Who can cobble together a coalition? You know, Cruz's people join up with Carson's people, and they join up with, maybe Chris Christie has a few delegates, and they say, okay, we'll let you be the president, you get to be vice president, and I'll be Secretary of State, and we'll come out of this saying, here's our team. I've got to take a break, don't I? I'll be right back. Friend, this TV show represents a mission. It's to be a voice of resistance to the evil in the land, but also to inspire people like you to take a stand at any level that you might be able to equip you, to inspire you, to challenge you, to give you the rhetorical ammunition that you need. But we still have to pay bills. This program, as you know if you're a regular viewer, we don't spend a lot of time raising money. We don't spend a lot of time saying, oh, you need to buy this and we're going to... No, we're bringing you a message, but we still have bills that we need to pay. I'm asking you, if you have been blessed by this show, to please go to our website or send a check to the address you see on the screen or call the phone number that you see on the screen and use your credit card, and to give $50 or $100 or $500 just to help us meet our normal expenses. And we'll keep bringing you this hard-hitting show. The question is this, to focus on Trump for a minute. By the way, take a look at this picture. Look at the size of this crowd. to hear a presidential candidate. I don't remember in my lifetime seeing this. I saw President Reagan speak live, okay, in maybe 84. And I don't know that there was that many people to hear who was arguably the best president in the last 50 years. There is something happening here, this enthusiasm. Now, the question is, on people's minds, is can he get the vote out? Will people come to vote? Because he's energizing a lot of people who aren't normally voters. By the way, did you see? One of the polls showed him beating Hillary in New York. And I'm not making this up. One of the polls, it'll come back to me. Anyway, he's got people frantic, absolutely frantic. And I know I've said this before, but it bears repeating, okay? Because those of you who know me know I'm a hardcore pro-lifer. I believe the number one thing that we need to do in America domestically is we need to end child killing. We need to make it a criminal act to kill a human being from conception until birth. The end, a criminal act, okay? You mean you'd see women go to jail? Well, yes, there's got to be some punishment, something. If it really is murder, if they're killing a human being, well, of course there has to be some punishment. What would the punishment be? I don't know. That would be up to our legislatures, okay? The point is that we've got to stop the shedding of innocent blood, right? So those of you who know me know this, and this is from the scriptures, obviously. The number one sin that cries out to God for vengeance is the shedding of innocent blood. We need to restore marriage to its sacramental, covenantal, God-ordained definition. It's between one man and one woman. Do I think that Trump is going to fight for these things? He says he is. I don't know. He might be just throwing a bone to the religious right. Is it a passion to him? Doesn't appear to me to be. Doesn't appear to be. But he recently, by the way, on a side note, he said that he has a problem with women in the military, that he wants to revisit it, women in combat, which is really good because it has proven to cause problems. Breakdown of morale, not to mention the immorality issues. You know what I mean? You paint your own picture. So I know what must happen for our country to be safe. Our number one foreign policy issue is dealing with Islam. All right, it's not just ISIS, it's Islam. Okay, Trump has shown pathos for that. He's running ads now with a guy with a really deep voice saying that's why Donald Trump said we have to have a temporary ban on Muslim immigrants. I mean, that's what his ad said. He doubled down. He ran right at it and embraced the word Muslim immigrants. So that he's passionate about. And he's dead on. He's spot on. The benefit of what he's doing right now, I've said this before, I'm sorry, it bears repeating, is that he is upending the Republican power structure. The elites that fund and then control like a puppet, Jeb Bush, go down the line with these candidates. Their little strings and their little fingers aren't doing diddly squat anymore. No effect. None. Because we're ignoring them. Their ads don't work. Their sound bites don't work. Karl Rove, this enemy of righteousness, he is out there flapping in the breeze. Now, believe me, they're not going to give up. Oh man, you better believe that there are some of these Republicans who would rather have Hillary as president than Trump. Because if Hillary is president, they can still be the resistance. They can still raise money. They can still pontificate about how bad it is and how we've got to stand against Hillary. What are they going to do if Trump gets elected? He didn't get there with their help. He didn't get to the presidency with their help. He can ignore them. Then they get shut out. That is the value that Trump is bringing right now. Those who have betrayed the Republican base are the Republican leaders, and Trump is upending them. And I say more power to him.